So we've built enemies using State Machine and Decision Engine, and they're working pretty well. But what separates a boss from just a regular enemy? Before we can start coding and building our boss, we need to answer that question. Hi, my name is Michael. Join me as we build an epic Metroidvania game in Godot 4 using GD script. This is the Metroidvania Forge. Okay, as we get started with this boss design process, we're going to look at that forge loop, okay? This is what I introduced in the previous video. And I mean, the forge loop is a name I made up, but the process still stands regardless of what we call it, right? But what we need to focus on today is steps 1 and 2. They kind of go hand in hand, but we're going to start with the imagination. We're going to talk about what I'm drawing inspiration from, and I'm going to share some brief concepting work that I've done. And then we'll take the ideas that we have and we'll put them down on paper and create a plan. Okay, and the plan document that I'm going to use is the one that's available on my itch.io page. So if you want to grab that boss creation worksheet, then you can do that and follow along there as well. Okay, so the first 2 steps go hand in hand, imagining and getting it down on paper. Okay, so as we get into designing this boss today, I want to look at some inspiration that I'm drawing from. And these are from all over the place, okay? They're not really fitting any one particular thing necessarily, but I kind of want to look at a couple favorites from my childhood that I think are influencing my thought process here. Now, one game that doesn't fit super well is Phantasy Star 3. I don't know if any of you guys have played that one, but there's this final boss in Phantasy Star 3. He's called Dark Force. And he's this huge boss. But the thing that I love about Dark Force from that game, you know, as old and as silly as that game is by today's standards, is there's this kind of unique atmosphere. He's throughout the game, you kind of get the same repetitive music throughout the boss fights or any enemy fights. But this boss has his own music, and he's got a fun, huge design and just really cool. And so for some reason, this one has kind of influenced me. But I think the biggest takeaway I can pull from Dark Force is that background music. And I don't know if I could do anything that kind of compares to it, but that's certainly an inspiration for me. Now, another really good example of what I'm looking for here has got to be Hollow Knight. I'm thinking in particular of the Hornet boss because, you know, she's, you know, Silk Song and everything aside, she's like a player-like boss, which is what I'm going for with this particular boss I'm thinking of. And so Hornet's got a move set that kind of looks like something that a player might control. She's similar in size. But in addition to that, I just love some of the arena designs that we see here. In this particular example, Hornet's got a small arena that's no larger than the screen, so you're not panning and moving around. It means that the fight is tight. The player can always see what the boss is doing, and I think that just adds something cool to the fight. Not to mention the cool little detail of like a little dead Hollow Knight in the background that, you know, implies that she's kind of deadly and dangerous. Now, another boss that I really like that I'm kind of borrowing some thoughts from is Nega from the Scott Pilgrim game movie franchise. And this was just fun because I've been thinking about our pink box hero a lot, and I've got a couple of you who commented, won't let me forget about the legendary pink box hero. And so I had this thought that what if our boss for the Metroidvania Forge, one of them was the resurrected, corrupted Nega pink box hero, right? And so I'm thinking of Nega, and I know in the movie, I don't even think they fight, right? They're just like buds or whatever.
Nega.
It's incredible French toast with like bananas on it. And you get bacon on the side. Oh, I'm liking that. Yeah. Oh, well, let's do it next week. Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. Be good. Yeah.
Nega and the Nega pink box hero is something that I think I've drawn some inspiration from as I'm working on this. Now, one last boss that I'm going to bring up is from Streets of Rage 2. This was one of my favorite games as a kid. At the final boss, there's 2 bosses, right? Before you fight Mr. X or whatever his name is, you fight his bodyguard, Shiva. And this dude is kind of this awesome ninja. He looks like a playable character, which is actually a little bit unique. Most of the bosses in Streets of Rage are, even though they're not filling the screen, I guess some of them are, but generally they're larger than the player. Okay, even Mr. X is. But Shiva looks like a player, he moves like the player, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, you can play as him. Maybe it's in Streets of Rage 3. Pretty cool, right? And so he, in my best recollection, was actually like the most difficult boss to beat without losing a life, because he's fast and he's agile, and I'm drawing inspiration from a boss like him as well. And man, that Streets of Rage music is so good. Again, I'm loving the music and the sound effects. And now, while I'm in this early phase of the ideation phase and just imagining what this boss could be, I like to, because I'm an artist, I like to kind of dive in and just play around with some visual concepts. Now, this could happen in many forms. Oftentimes this will be a sketch or something like that. Because I want this enemy to mirror what the player looks like, I've just gone ahead and pulled in the hero into a sprite, and I'm just going to paint over it real quick, kind of think, what would this Nega pink box hero be like? And of course, the hero isn't the pink box hero, and but he kind of is. I don't know. So I'm not going to match it one for one, but I am going to draw pretty heavy inspiration from the hero. And so, playing around with that Nega concept, like instead of normal looking, he's dark, he's black, because he's got the pink box influence. I want to tie that in to like his hair, to his outfit, and to the color. So blacks and pinks are really what I'm thinking for this enemy. And of course, taking the player and just painting over it makes this go pretty quick. And if I don't like it, I can abandon it. It's okay. No harm, no foul. So ultimately, making a second iteration, I kind of honed in on some of the things I want to. I tightened it up a little bit and adjusted the colors to be less red and more pink, and ended up with something that I'm pretty happy with, at least for an early concept stage. And now if I was going to really develop this, if I was getting ready to publish this game on Steam, I'd probably put a little bit more thought into it. But I think for now, I'm really quite happy with where this landed. Okay, so I've developed this boss encounter design sheet that you can grab. It's going to be included in the itch.io package, and there's just a couple versions. The one that we're looking at here is kind of a full color version. I have a fillable PDF form version of this, and then I've got one that's a little bit more printer friendly. So if you just want to print one out and handwrite on it, which is probably what I would do under most normal circumstances. And I want to make the Nega pink box hero. And so this enemy is going to be kind of designed off of that original, or I guess off of our player, but also kind of a play off of that original little placeholder pink checkerboard pattern thing that we had. So I think the primary test of this boss, this is this next field here. This is more of a general skill mastery, I think. Like maybe what you put in here is something like the primary test is maybe using ground slam or the dash ability or something like that. Okay, could be something like that. It doesn't have to be. But that's kind of the general idea behind this primary test field. And then we've got a signature mechanic, meaning kind of what is this boss going to be known for? And so the signature mechanic, honestly, I'm not quite sure. I think maybe this was a bad example to start with, but I think for this Nega pink box hero, kind of his signature mechanic is that he's player-like. I wouldn't plan to do that with many enemies, and so he'll probably have a lot of the same move sets as our hero. Some other things that are really important, I think these columns here on the left are really important for designing what the feel of this boss is going to be, because we want our boss battles to be memorable. These should be the moments where not only do you test the player's ability and kind of to its limits, but you also present situations, environments, and scenarios that are going to be memorable to the player. So whether that's in the environment design visually and aesthetically, the pixel art, or the music, or both, maybe the visual effects, okay? So the fantasy or the goal here, I'm going to say that the fantasy or the goal is to challenge the player with a player-like combat. And of course, maybe this goal is going to be hard for me to reach, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Part of this fantasy is I want it to be kind of like high action, high stakes, I guess. So that's going to help dictate maybe the style of the music. Moving on, we've got a one sentence pitch here. So this could be something like, player encounters his arch nemesis at the end of the castle or something like that, right? I don't know if that's a good one sentence pitch, but it works. Now for the atmosphere, the spectacle presentation, I want this one to feel kind of confined. I don't really want my rooms to be super large. And so maybe I make that one of the goals here, confined space. I want it to feel kind of dire, but high tempo. And again, that's something that as I'm writing that, it's kind of describing the music, how I'm going to compose the music for this maybe a little bit. Challenging. This is also, for for all intents and purposes for this small game that I'm building for this series, it's kind of like the final boss, right? So this should feel it should feel like the most challenging and also have kind of like a cool reward. So I think that there maybe needs to be a little bit more to this. I think a memorable moment here could be, honestly, I'm going to describe something that I'm probably not planning on seeing through to completion because of time limitations. But I feel like if there is a boss battle that's got any kind of boss transformation or significant phase shift, I think this would be one. So I think it could be kind of like, the boss is a little bit more tame at first. This typically happens, right? And especially in old Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo style games, you'd fight a boss. He seems like a little bit of a pushover, but then he transforms into like the ultimate form, and he's like super tough from that point on. So maybe there's a moment like that. Okay, so some sort of transformation or difficulty spike moment. And of course, if he is kind of like the final boss, then there maybe should be also, as part of this, maybe there's a little bit of dialogue, maybe there's a little bit of an intro, as well as kind of a sequence when you defeat him. Okay, so that could be like a cutscene. We're not going to be building a full cutscene system necessarily for this, but we'll be trying to incorporate these things with some straightforward systems. Now, the arena description could be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to have like a dark castle room lit by torches. Okay, I think that's good. Now, the arena / boss sketch is going to be hard to do here. This is something where, regardless of your art talents, you're going to want to maybe draw out things like the arena design. What is the level layout going to look like, and how is that going to dictate the gameplay? It could also be sketches of what the boss looks like. So if you're trying to design a monster, in this case, he's kind of hero-like. Okay, so you could sketch those things down there. And then, of course, we've got this section that's got the move list. And I'm not sure if this is kind of how people would prefer it function, but we've got phases, moves, the purpose, the telegraph, and the punish window. These are different things that I think could be incorporated into a boss, but it's not a definitive list to how you should design it. But to further explain this a little bit, the phase is maybe more self-explanatory, but it's going to be like, what part of the boss battle is this? And typically, if you think of a boss battle, like in the case of this transformation or difficulty spike, maybe it's a 2-phase boss battle, and maybe that's all there is. Maybe there's more phases, 3 or 4. Okay, but you can kind of indicate in this phase, these are the abilities he has available to him. And so he'll have just maybe a regular attack, and call it sword attack or whatever you want to call it. Whoa. Now, the purpose of this is really, there's no specific purpose. This is just general attack, maybe. But you might want to describe a purpose for it here, apply damage over time, force the player back, things like that. Telegraph, I think there will be minimal. It'll just be animation. Now, punish window, I think for his regular sword attack, I think that's going to be one of the strengths of this boss. So I'm just going to say none for now. Maybe the punish window is something like as they're charging up for an attack, the boss becomes vulnerable here. Or maybe it's that, if the attack misses, then the boss is like stuck in the ground and exposes a weak point or something like that. That is going to depend to a large degree on the boss that you're designing. In this case, where it's more like a hero-like character, there's not going to be much in the way of punish windows, I don't think, for any of the attacks, but he's going to have a sword attack. I'm going to say, let me go ahead and just copy these, and I'm going to say that he's probably going to have just a few attacks. So I think he'll have like a regular attack. He'll have like a dash-based attack. And then I want him to have kind of a super powered version of the ground slam. Okay, so we'll have a dash attack. Purpose of this will be kind of like a distance closer. Okay, and for this one, there will probably be a telegraph where he has to charge up. Maybe we do add a punish window on this one. So maybe after the charge attack, he's got like a short rest time or something like that. Let's just give it like maybe 2 seconds. 2-second recovery or something like that. And I think this could maybe happen during phase 1, but just to be safe, let's split it into 3 phases. Maybe phase 1 and 2 are kind of seamless. You can't quite tell. But then let's go ahead and create that third attack I mentioned, which was going to be some sort of ground slam variation, right? And this purpose is going to be like a full screen kind of attack. So what I envision happening is he slams the ground and it sends shockwaves across the map. So you're going to have to, the player's going to have to get height to avoid it. Maybe they can simply jump over it, or maybe they need to get onto some platforms. But I'll just call this one like a full screen power move. So there will be like a charge up / jump animation where he's going to probably go I'm thinking he'll always do this attack from the center of the arena. So he'll jump / charge in center. Maybe he'll have the similar 2-second recovery on this one that he has with the dash attack. So there's 3 attacks. Now I think a boss like this should probably have some additional attacks. And so you can fill that out. And here I've only got spaces for 6. I don't know that there has to be a limit of 6 either, but there should be a minimum of at least 1, right? But regardless, I'm going to leave it here at these 3 attacks for my boss. Let me go ahead and plop in some arena design and sketches for the enemy so that you can see what that looks like. Okay, now in line with that Hornet kind of level design and what I'm thinking, I wanted to just sketch out the arena, and I want it to be kind of small so that it's more or less a single screen. It's going to be very simple, so it's going to be very tight and focused on the boss and the player himself, that duel. Okay, so I've sketched something out real quick using Procreate. You can see I've got a simple arena here with a basic idea of maybe what the atmosphere is going to look like, kind of dark with the glowing torches and something along those lines. So when we take this, we can add it to our boss design sheet and bring in the little concept art that we made of the Nega pink box hero. And there we go. We've designed a boss. Okay, there we have it. We've written down a plan. We've imagined and we started to plan, right? We're kind of doing both of those in one step. And this process can be a little bit fluid like that, but just think about how that's going to work. Sometimes the designing and the planning go hand in hand. You need to go back and forth just a little bit. But we've written it down on paper so that we're ready now to start building all of the pieces that we need to make this boss happen. And like I mentioned in the introductory video for this chapter, we're going to spend a lot of time in the build phase of this boss because we have to build all of the items that go into this. We need to create pixel art. If we need audio and music, we'll be creating that as well. And then, of course, we have to build the arena and the actual boss himself, okay? So I'm going to make a video dedicated to different portions of the build that we do. I'm not going to do it all in one video, so those will be coming up next. But your assignment at this point is to take the boss worksheet or just write it down on a piece of paper, but write out your plan for your boss. What are the moves that you need to build? What do you need to create in order to make it happen? Then you'll be prepared for the next step. If you need to create pixel art, you can follow along with what I'm doing and use what I'm going to build. I'll share some of that with you so that you can have those assets. But otherwise, if you want to create your own, then I encourage you strongly to do so because, building these skills and abilities out is something that's going to help make your game your own and really, I think, is quite enjoyable. So thanks as always for watching. Subscribe if you're new so you can see when I'm posting my next video. And as always, we'll see you next time.